Hey everyone, so today we are back at Pick Your Part in Sun Valley. We have not been here for several weeks. We are going to walk around, look for something. Hopefully we can pull something today. If we can't, it's no big deal. And honestly, it's a lot cooler today, so today should be a lot more pleasant than our last yard run.
So since we've been here, there's actually been quite a few changes. So there used to be a big divider and there was the non-primo section. It was like $3 each, and then primo an extra $2, and all the prices were higher. That's gone. It's now just one big yard. And I'm also noticing, and then somebody commented this before, it's kind of just chaos now. It's not nearly as organized as it used to be, but it looks to be like there's car, truck mostly, and then car again. So it's going to be a little bit harder for me to bounce around and figure out what I'm looking at. I might have to do a lot of just like zigzagging to figure out what I'm looking for. But in the walk back here, I've already found a couple things, so I think I know where we want to go. One thing that I did notice last time in the yard, we didn't talk about it much because we didn't really do much walking around, it's mostly just pulling the Denali motor, is that a lot of these actually have a insurance sticker now. This one doesn't say the mileage, but a lot of them do. So that's one more bit of information. Technically, I could even like hook up a battery and try to like read the gauge clusters, but because I never read mileage, it's like, hey, I don't know, I don't care. But yes, we've got that now. And something other funny I noticed with this is that it's got a drop kit on it. It's got a bolt-on C-notch, but it's broken. So it's literally cracked the frame underneath it, because this bolts on to stiffen the frame so you cut it out for the axle. So yeah, there might be just some other lowering parts on this thing, but I definitely wouldn't take it from this truck. And to clarify, this is the normal sticker that's on all of them. This is from LKQ. This is what I use, obviously 2002 name, year, make, model right there, and then you have the VIN, and then I can clearly see the 8th digit, because that's the first thing I look for what motor's in it. So VIN T 5.3. All right, here's something cool, big block Suburban. It's a 94, so it's an L19, it's not an L29. The L29, that's the Vortec one, it makes a lot more power. But yeah, there are a lot of big blocks in the yard. They're kind of overrated now. People don't really bother with them anymore, but if you're looking for big blocks, they are in these yards. So this thing's pretty interesting. It's an 01 Express van. It's not an LS, even though it's 01. The Express vans didn't get them until like 2003. It's just a small block, but the small block's long gone. You can see here though, this is why I like pulling 6 liters out of vans. It seems daunting, but as soon as you pull all this away, pretty much everything comes forward. But what's interesting about this is, so it's a 3/4 ton, but it's only a 6-lug. Because it's a 6-lug, it has a very special axle. So what's unique about this is that it's a 9.5-inch semi-float. So it's the same size as the bigger axle, because the 8.5 is super weak. I talk about it all the time. It always breaks in these trucks. The Express vans that were 3/4 ton, but they were 6-lug, came with a hybrid axle where it's a 9.5-inch ring gear. You can tell it's not a 10-bolt. Because there isn't 10 bolts going around, and there's not 10 bolts on the ring gear. And this one's already been taken apart, but this one is either 33 or 35 spline axles. It's semi-floating, it's not full floating like the 14 bolt. And it drops in because it's the same length as the regular width axles. So this, if you blow up your 8.5 and you have a GMT 800, you can buy this, swap your brakes, and then have an actually strong axle in it.
Ooh, that is stinky.
Yeah, that's what gear oil smells like.
Oh.
So if I find one, I'll compare it to the standard 30 spline axles, but these are way beefier than the standard 30 spline that's in the 8.5.
Beefy.
So here we're behind another Express van. This is another 2500, but if you look underneath, that's a 14-bolt full floater, because this is an 8-lug. So you can see that's a super big, beefy, heavy axle, not like the medium half-ton beefier axle.
I have lost my husband. I don't know where he is. Oh.
So this thing has the small block that I always talk about buying, like if I were to build a small block. Maybe if we build a small block for the Monza, I don't know, the small block in the Monza is kind of already good. But this is a 2000 Sierra 2500. 2000, obviously, that's well after LS's existed, but the very late 3/4 ton small block trucks came with roller 350s, obviously the 351, sorry, not 351, the L31, sorry, and so Vortec, and then all the 3/4 ton models came with a 4-bolt main. So the half tons are all 2-bolt, 3/4 tons are 4-bolt. So if I'm going to build a small block, this is basically the exact truck I'm trying to find one out of, a really late 3/4 ton GMT 400. sure enough, literally deja vu. There was another white 2002 6-liter Denali. When we walked up, I thought it was the same one. I was like, wait, but that was weeks ago. And sure enough, no, it's not, because the motor's still here. So yeah, sure enough, there's another 6-liter here. And then I think because there's no more Primo, it's all the non-Primo pricing. I'll figure out, if we buy something, we'll figure it out. It might all be not super expensive now because it might be non-Primo pricing. Because the last one we bought was in the non-Primo section. That's why we rushed so far to get it out. Because it's supposed to be in the more expensive side. So yes, there is a 6-liter here right now. I can't really see any body damage, just like the last one. I can see the last one had like a little bit of damage, but that motor actually was pretty good inside. But yeah, no mileage insurance sticker. So
Yeah, if you need help opening doors, wifey's got it. So.
yeah, so I'll cruise around, see if I can find anything. This one looks bone stock. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're good at opening doors without handles.
Do you want it open?
Maybe.
Good. Oh, maybe this one has me. You're gonna have to open it from that side, actually. Who skinned this Denali alive? My lord. Why? That's just sad. Wait, how did that, honestly, why would somebody do that?
No idea.
Oh. So this one's much more thrashed.
Yeah, well, this one's just dirty, whereas that one is that I think someone who actually liked it had it. But yeah, it's really dirty in here. But I think we'll keep walking around. If we find anything else, we'll come back to this. You know, if we want to pull a 6-liter, if we want to spend all that time again. But yeah, let's keep going.
On the road again. I have been abandoned yet again. He's a poltergeist.
So another 2000 Express fan. The Express fans are funny because you like never know what you're gonna get. I was looking at it and I see VIN M, and I was like, M? I don't know what M is because I know what all these mean. And sure enough, I look over here, and it's a friggin' 305. I had no idea they still made the 305 all the way in the year 2000. It's funny how you can literally get the best engines they ever made in the Express fan. You can get a LML, no, not an LML. You can get a LBZ. You can get 6-liters. You can get all sorts of stuff, but then you can also get a freaking 305.
Turd.
You're gonna go down here again. And then I'll use this same Express fan to explain the axle. So this is your standard 8.5. As you can see, you know, if you go through all 3 clips, this is the standard 8.5, 3.5, 30 spline axles. We had the 9.5-inch semi-floater, and then we had the full, 14-bolt full floater. So they're all very visually different. So do you notice anything peculiar about where we are and everything around in this big open space?
By the melted vehicles, I could tell you that there was a fire.
Yeah, so probably earlier last year, if I have footage, I'll put it in. But so what was happening is people were lighting fires in cars, which they're not supposed to bring in torches. So I don't know how people are lighting fires, but yeah, clearly somebody was lighting some cars on fire here and they let them burn and they all start burning all around. Because I highly doubt this is all just happens to be fire damaged cars to begin with. Yeah,
wow, this one is full on spooky season.
Yeah, I don't understand like what compels people to want to melt these things. Like, oh my god. And then the tires start exploding, so it's pretty intense.
Oh yeah, like this guy here.
And then I can tell that this was a while ago because it smells not that bad.
Yeah.
When it was burning the first time, you could not breathe. It smelled so bad. And then we came back like a little while later and it still smelled bad.
Yeah.
So clearly somebody burned all this a minute ago. So moved on to the car section. Here we've got a pretty cool 84 Corvette. I can tell it's an 84 because obviously it says 84, but it's got the good old Crossfire. So Crossfire has 2 throttle body injections opposite from each other. This motor made like 200 horsepower. But I really want to show you this because I want you to see how different the C4 is than the C5. Go ahead and try to climb in this thing. Yeah, so as you can see, much harder to get into than the C5. This sill, they lowered like, I don't know, it's like 5 inches. Obviously this distance is like ridiculously small. You can see actually this thing has the 4-speed manual, this is the manual pedal down there, with the overdrive. It's missing. I wanted to see what it looked like, but it's not there. Actually, no, it's over there. So I'll talk about that afterwards. But so yeah, you can see much harder to live with, much skinnier. And then the main reason why they moved the transmission to the back is because the pedal box is like abysmally small. They stretched the wheelbase to, 104 from like 96, and then moved the transmission back there. And then they got rid of the transmission tunnel basically altogether because it just necks down for the torque tube. So, you know, these things look like not as cool, but they're way, way, way less livable. So here we got the transmission. This is technically, I think it's a Super T10. I'm not fully familiar with the all the non-overdrive manual transmissions. It's got obviously the shift guys that are here. And then this on the back is basically just a gear fenders. It's got a, you know, planetary gear set inside, and then in second, third, and fourth, it engages in overdrive. So it's 4 and then plus the 3. This is the first time I've actually seen one like out of a car, and it's a lot actually bigger than I thought it was gonna be. It's pretty heavy too. And now time for the obligatory C10 sales rant. So here we've got an actual 72, so smog exempt in California, C20. Yeah, clearly these things are not worth the thousands and thousands of dollars people think they are because it's in a junkyard. I can't really find anything wrong with it. It all looks like it's all there. Somebody a little bit of wrong, but pretty funny. There is Crowler cam stickers on the valve covers. I highly doubt there are actually Crowler valve tread in here, but nonetheless, that's kind of cool, I guess. So part 2 of obligatory C10 sales rant. Here we've got 87 RV 1500. It's got a really weird looking small block in it because this is a 6.2 diesel Detroit. So this thing is in fact smog exempt in California. It's a solid front axle. So this thing is super, super cool, but sure enough, not cool enough to be in a, to not be in a junkyard. This 6.2 is a horrible engine. The 6.5 is only marginally better. But yeah, it is, I guess, too bad that someone didn't save the body and everything to, make a smog exempt LS swap, but alas, here it is. So here we technically have, I honestly think, the best find of the day. So we have a 2005 Trailblazer, VIN M, not a VIN S. So S is the 4.2, VIN P is the LM4, which is only 03 and 04. And then in 05, this thing went to Gen 4, whereas the rest of the trucks didn't go to Gen 4 until 2007. So this is a Gen 4 aluminum 5.3, effectively the same thing as an L33, which is the high performance 5.3. So if we get in here, hopefully we can see it. So way down in there, you can see maybe 799. So this has 799/243 heads. This is the higher performance aluminum 5.3. However, what's interesting though is it still has the Gen 3 intake manifold. So with the 0405s and 06s, there's a lot of hybridization of like what has what. So that means this has the Gen 3 intake manifold, although it is technically a Gen 4 computer. You can see it there, it's the smaller computer. And then it's got the later style injector plugs, it's got the stainless rail, and it's got the Gen 4 rods. So I think if we're gonna pull anything, it's either this or that LQ4. I don't know which one is worth more, and then, yeah, definitely decisions to be made. So I think what we're gonna do, I think we're gonna try to get this guy out first. We could probably get it out because it's actually got quite a bit missing, and it's not all-wheel drive, and like a lot of the exhaust is cut away far enough where I can get to it. I think I can get this out pretty quick. I have heard help. And then I think tomorrow, maybe even come back for the LQ4, and that one obviously I can sell because everybody wants LQ4s. But here, so yeah, this even bolted on, so here, just rip it, like. Okay, it's almost all the way off. I think it's got like a clip underneath. Yeah, there it goes. Good job. So here, this is from a different car, so there. Actually, oh no, this is from the car. Take that. Okay, there you go. Good. So the Envoy and the Trailblazer platform is a little more challenging because obviously everything's a lot more narrow, and then this core support is basically structural. You can see there's a bolt here, but this main pad doesn't go away, so you can't really pull away the whole front end like the other ones. But as long as they're not all-wheel drive, it's really not as bad. The vans are my favorite, but I haven't pulled a motor out of a van for a minute. All right, I think the radiator, the whole thing's free. Just come straight up. It's gonna want to catch on the fan.
Yeah. It's not wanting to come straight up though. It's catching on something.
The fan.
Oh.
All right, condenser's out of the way, so just,
That's still stuck.
Yank. Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. I just don't want that fluid on me.
It's just water. Oh, this other hose is still connected. Let me get that. All right, you good. Cool. All right. Now a little more room. So for whatever reason, the Envoy and Trailblazers, they have this really dumb giant fan. It's nothing like the truck one. And then I also forgot the battery to my gun. So naturally I have to, although I remember the saw this time. So we got the saw, which we won't show on camera because people get mad when I use the saw. And then I have to get in here with extensions to take off the water pump. Oh no, I didn't use the heater lines. We got those. Water pump. And you can see all the shiny, nice aluminum, and the fact that it's obviously Gen 4 because you have the front cam sensor instead of the one on the back. All right, that's off. Good. Okay, you want to hand it to me or you yank it somewhere?
Well, I'm just kind of letting it drip right now because I don't want it to drip over there and make it slippery.
Oh, true. Well, no, so you're just making it slippery first underneath us?
Well, I'm grabbing that cardboard in a second. I'm going to stick it underneath.
All right, we've been at this for a little while, so slowly tearing it down. We got a lot of these bolts out of the way that are hard to get to. Got the coil packs off, the intake manifolds about to come off. The freaking Trailblazers and Envoys are such a pain to work on. One, because everything's so narrow, and then all of the HVAC stuff, so you got like either AC lines and heating lines, they all run on top here, so it's a super big pain to get them out of the way. So just everything just takes that much a little bit longer to just keep going. You know, at least it's not an all-wheel drive, which is like a nightmare to get down into there. But like even this AC compressor is a lot harder to get to because there's like no space here. So yeah, we're just still cranking along. It's been a while since I pulled one of these out of an Envoy. All right, I think the intake manifold is going to come off. Oh, this one.
Whoopsies.
This is going to make things a lot further along. Bam. So nice to see a Gen 4 Valley pan. Not used to seeing those in this yard.
I wanted to take it.
Oh, okay.
Very nice.
I was finally able to get some of these freaking refrigerant lines out of the way. These are so annoying on this. Still got this whole thing and it all anchors behind the motor. But I think I can get, that one's off, I can move that out of the way, and then I can get to the rear bell housing bolts. All right, so we've actually been here quite a while. I think we're actually gonna call it today. Normally we get everything out in one, but we didn't get here as early as we'd have liked, and also I was running around talking about other things. So yeah, I think we're gonna leave this like this. It's pretty much ready to come out. Also, I had forgotten my battery for my impact gun, so that's been making everything a nightmare. So yeah, I'll bring a new blade for the saw, bring the impact gun and battery, and we'll come super early in the morning, so it's still nice and cool, and just rip this thing right out. So yeah, we'll close the hood on this, and then see it tomorrow. All right, good night, sweet prince.